Hey guys, so I just quickly wanted to jump on here and talk about carbohydrates and fiber because I got a really good question from one of my clients, and he basically asked, is there a specific ratio between your allocated carb intake and the amount of fiber that you should be having? So that's really what I wanted to talk about today. So first of all, fiber is a source of carbohydrate. However, the fibrous carbohydrates that you find in vegetables, they are not as easily broken down by the body as, say, something like rice or potato, something that is a lot easier for the body to break down. So fiber do provide some energy, which if we're looking at the comparison from, say, something like white rice and something like kale, white rice will give you roughly 4 calories per gram, whereas the cabbage or the kale will give you about 2.2 calories per gram. So there is a slight difference in how much calories you get per the gram of carbohydrates. So even though fiber has less calories, we will still count them as being carbohydrates. And that means that if you are on a weight loss journey, increasing your amount of vegetables will give you a more full feeling for the same amount of food that you will be eating if it were to be white rice or fibrous carbohydrates. So as a weight loss strategy, it is a really powerful tool to use because you will decrease your hunger levels. But the main reason for having fiber in your diet is actually because this is how you make your gut thrive. And if you didn't know, about 80% of your immune system resides in the gut, and therefore if you want to have a healthier immune system, you need to be able to feed the gut bacteria with the food that they want, which comes from the fiber. So to answer the question regarding how much fiber you should have versus the total amount of carbohydrates that you will be having, it depends on the person. Now, it's important to say here that there is not really an upper limit to how much fiber you could be having in your diet, but there is potentially a lower limit to where you actually don't get enough to see your gut thrive. And as a general guideline, 20 grams for women and 30 grams for men is like the lower limit of what everyone should be having. Unfortunately though, in the Western diet, it can go down to as little as 5%. So a good way to boost your immune system and actually to thrive a little bit more is to increase your fiber. But if you increase your fiber way too quickly, you might find yourself being a bit constipated, very gassy. So if you are currently not eating a lot of vegetables, don't stress and just increase your portions as you go so that you can minimize the risk of a gut distress whilst increasing your carbohydrates from fiber. So in terms of ratios, there's not really a ratio. It's going to depend on your total calorie consumption and the amount of fiber that you have. So at the end of the day, your fiber intake, you should really try to be hitting the minimum, but more is sometimes better, okay? But if you're scared of having carbohydrates from simple carbs such as bread or pasta or rice, but you have reached a point where you are actually quite physically active, you are losing body weight and body fat, then there's no need for you to stay away from simple carbs and actually enjoy them and see the benefits of having them, because ultimately your carbohydrate tolerance is just going to depend on where you are in your journey, and that is really the difference. So there's no real ratio, it just depends on where you are in your journey. And hey guys, if you found this interesting and you want more information on how to set your diet up, I've created a 10-step guide which I'm happy to send to you for free if you just pop your name down below or send me a DM.